So Leanie and I, Mary Contreras and Ann Porter, are here to have a discussion about minimalism. Which I know if my friends were to hear this, they would be laughing hysterically that I would even be contemplating that word, because definitely my house doesn't show that. But also, not just about minimalism, but what does our living space say about us? If we were really to look at that and all the things that we do have, what does that say about us?
Well, sitting here in my house, which is a collection of almost everything, and I've been also watching, in addition to watching this documentary about minimalism, I've also been flirting with the program called Hoarders, and wondering if I'm on the edge of hoarding
Somehow I don't think
or
so.
not.
Yes, what is that edge?
It's a little edgy. It's like, okay,
No, come on.
I still don't have trails through piles of newspaper, which is good.
Yes,
But
and then
don't go in the garage. Don't go in the garage. It's like, okay. So to even out the balance, I think I watched this documentary last night about minimalism. And these two guys realized that they had both come from poverty, and that they had been working hard all their lives to fill some kind of void. They didn't have things growing up. It only occurred to them when they were a little bit older, 9 or 10, that they didn't have the things that everybody else did. So their childhoods were, as all of ours probably, were pretty innocent. I don't need stuff. I've got family and
friends to play with.
I go to school and stuff like that. So it didn't occur to them until that age where, kids start looking at what brand of tennies you're wearing, or if you have a television or not in your house, that occurred to them that they didn't, that there was a lack there. So they worked real hard and got to corporate upper management and had everything possible in terms of a possession that they thought they wanted, and realized they were still empty.
Oh, yes.
But they didn't have what they wanted.
Because we've been brought up to believe that our things, our belongings, define us.
Yeah.
And we go about it as backward. Happiness is an inside job. It isn't about the house, the car, and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what was
Yeah.
one of
Except
their
that
points.
when I'm feeling really down, it is good to go shopping and to buy some things. What is that about? I mean, that feeling of, oh, this was fun. I enjoyed that. Oh, I got something.
I love
Something
retail
new.
therapy. I love retail
Yeah,
therapy.
so what is that about?
Well, it's a very short-lived.
You're right.
You're
yes.
right.
Very short-lived, and
Yes.
when I had an antique leather-bound book business for many years.
Oh, lovely.
And
Wow.
so I would always be on the lookout for more books. And when I would walk into a home where the person had passed away and I looked at all this stuff, it is absolutely mind-blowing what people would buy and keep. But a lot of things were still in bags or clothes in the closet with the tags on, evidently never worn. So that to me proves that it's the act of going out, finding something, paying for it, buying it, and then carrying the bag. And then when you get home, you just put the bag down and it's kind of forgotten about.
So it's the activity.
I think, it's the mere act of buying and that moment of excitement, but then you get home and, how often haven't we dreamt about something that we felt we needed, and then we get it and we're all excited, and a week later you say, oh yeah, that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I did have friends that would have clothes in their closet. Like if I went into their closet and would notice that they had tags on them still and they hadn't even worn them. I never understood that, because I'm the type of buyer that, that's what I want right at that moment. And I will wear that probably for 2 weeks in a row, almost every day, because I'm enjoying it, or that's what I really wanted, or have it out and about so that people can see it or I can see it. So I never understood, although I know this happens, like what you just said, Leanie, that people will buy it and just sort of put it away, or it's still in the bag, or it's still in the plastic. No,
Right.
that's never been the case with me. I wear it, I use it right away.
Yeah.
I have a criteria when I do shop, and especially for clothes, is the cost versus the amount of time I can wear it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to figure out how many times do I have to wear it in order for it to cost me $1 each time, let's say, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And that kind of reels me in.
That's,
I feel
yeah.
that I can't do that.
I do that with my electric bill for the pool. So far, I'm at about, I don't know, $35 per use. My electric cost every time I go in is like, you gotta go in there and reduce that cost per use.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd really like to get down to $8. So I got a ways to go.
Well, that's sort of like streaming. You know how we now need to pay for all these different programs, and I think you're right. I sort of in my head do this thing of, well, if I'm watching Netflix every night, if I am, oh, it's worth that.
That's right.
But if it's something that is so expensive, as you were saying, Leanie, it's like, oh, I don't know. Am I really going to get that much use out of it that it verifies, or not verifies, what is the word I'm looking for? Acknowledges that it's well worth it, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be
Justified.
in some way. You're right.
There really has to be a balance between one's desire and one's needs.
Exactly.
I don't think if that's out of balance, that's when we are not so happy.
I think that's the thing, right? Isn't that what we're talking about? It's like, if I can buy that right away, and Amazon's gonna deliver it like right away in 30 hours, from time to time, basically.
Immediate gratification.
Immediate gratification.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Right.
But I think a lot of times, at least for me, it's the anticipation of waiting for it to come.
Yeah.
Like I bought like a steamer to clean, so like the grout and in the kitchen and all of that, and I was so excited. It took quite a while before it came. I got it, I used it, and then that was it. I like it, I still use it, but it was that excitement of receiving this device that was going to make my cleaning so infinitely easier.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It didn't make it easier.
Well, yes and no, but it's awkward because you have to carry this sort of, it's almost like a kettle. And then you have a long cord so it can follow you around. And then you stop and you have to refill it again. I mean, it's a little awkward, but it does clean quite nicely.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's something.
But I was just sort of disappointed with myself that, here I was so excited about this thing, I couldn't wait. And then I get it, I use it, and just another thing.
Just another thing, yes.
Yeah,
But if you use it then, from time to time. I have a friend who just hates shopping. As a matter of fact, she won't even go to the grocery store a lot of the time. She just doesn't like shopping. And I haven't ever, gone deep with her about it. Is it like the money, or what is it you don't like about shopping? Because like you said, Laney, that I love shopping. I love going out there and seeing what's in the store windows and what people are wearing, and I really like being on the street and putting oneself together to be on the street. I think it's an Italian concept, right? There's an Italian term for that performance that one does on the street with other people, and I really like that part of consumerism myself. Is that it is going the adventure.
So
of
it
the
is
hunt.
going out and getting
Well,
dressed and
but
ready
then-
for
but
it,
then-
or is it the actual shopping?
But all of it, I like all of it. I do. I really.
Do you throw in a lunch and a little glass of champagne at the same time?
Yeah, well, I should.
You should.
Oh my gosh, what a good idea. I've spent all my money though, so that might not work.
Well, I think sometimes shopping, I mean, I love to shop, but I don't really like supermarkets,
Oh, uh-huh.
that kind of shopping.
Oh.
Because to me, there's just too many choices.
Uh-huh.
I don't like going even into places like Ross. You know, you have to look through too much stuff. I like smaller shops
Yes.
that maybe have unusual things or clothes or something that's different.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just overwhelming to me.
Yep.
You
I
know,
get it.
you walk into, that's why I think I love Trader Joe's as opposed to most supermarkets, because they're smaller
Right.
and the selection is smaller.
Right. And you can get familiar with it.
Yes, and you
Right.
sort of know what's available or what you can find.
Right.
Whereas in a supermarket, you know, which aisle is peanut butter on? Oh my God, and there's 10 different brands?
Right.
How am I supposed to choose? I mean,
Right.
that to me is just
But that's-
overkill.
That's the argument for communism, isn't it? I mean, I think that is so. I remember coming to the United States and going into those supermarkets and being absolutely awestruck at you walk down one aisle and you had 20 different types of breads, and then you walk into the jam section and all that choice. I thought it was absolutely extraordinary that you could just go and fill the bag. There it is. And coming from a little country that wasn't so advanced, it was really very awe-inducing to see all that splendor, all that availability.
Yeah. So much.
Yeah.
So much. Were you in East Germany?
Denmark.
Denmark. That's right.
Denmark.
That's right. Yeah.
Little Denmark.
But don't you think we have too many choices? I mean,
Well,
it's
maybe that's
even
why
with
people
cars,
overbuy.
cars,
You know, it's
and
because
food,
they're
and
so freaked
it's
out.
just so much.
Well, and then you can do it on the internet where there's everything.
Yes.
You don't even have to get dressed. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's not
Yes.
even about going out. And
You
being-
mean you don't get dressed and ready and then sit down and order on Amazon?
No, you guys my timing from getting dressed for you guys was like split second. So thank you for coming. It was like the only way I got out of my pajamas today was because you guys were coming.
Well, what do you think your home says about you? Leanie, what do you think your home says about you?
That's an interesting question. I think my home, and I kind of noticed it just recently, I have a little area where I sit, and then I have a bay window which I filled up with all sorts of plants. But when I look back and forth, it's all about animals, and I never realized that. So I think when somebody comes in and looks and sees the oil paintings or whatever, or statues, that they will get a very good idea that this person loves animals. And then, of course, all the books that I have. Does that answer your question? Probably not. Dig deeper.
No, that's it.
Well, it's an interesting question. What it entails me thinking about what somebody else is going to see in my house, which basically I don't give a fuck.
That's true.
You know what?
Okay,
I
yes.
I want it comfortable.
Yeah.
I want it welcoming. I want it interesting. I want it
Well, that does
possibly
entail other people, though.
stimulating for other people. But what they think about it actually,
Oh,
you know, what
I
their
see what you're saying.
opinion might be about it, or what they think about how my house occurs to them, or how I live occurs to them. It's just like, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm really happy here with all my things.
So,
You know.
basically, your home is a place where you feel safe and happy,
Yeah.
and you love being here.
Yeah, I do, and I love having people come. I love having it be a place where people might be interested in being for however long they want to be here. You know what I mean?
When I think of mine, I like it open.
Uh-huh.
So doors are usually open, it's even the front door, it's
Right.
just, I like the sense of openness. And I think that says something about me too, that I hope that people see that I'm an open person,
Yeah.
that I'm willing to talk about anything or to share things. Um, I want it to be colorful because I like that. Although I wish that I would dress more colorfully. You know, I think of Winifred Maurice, who she dresses so beautifully,
Doesn't she?
and she'll put things together that I so admire, and I think I just couldn't do that. I couldn't put, you know, a flowery top with checkered pants or something, you know, but she pulls it off and it's just gorgeous. And I don't know why I don't allow myself that, because
I don't know either.
I don't, you know, because I just find that so fun. She's so free. I see that freedom, and I see in her home sort of the same thing, but a very calming presence too. Have you been in her home?
I have. It's
Okay.
gorgeous.
Don't you think it's a very, like, wow, anybody could sit there and feel relaxed and comfortable. There's so much space, but the colors too are very calming, very peaceful.
Yeah.
My colors tend to be bright, I think, a lot of different colors going on. But I hope that people, and I hear people say that they feel that it's fun and comfortable, that they like coming
I'm
into
sure.
the house. So that's important to me. I want people to feel, as you said, and welcomed, and that they want to come in and just be able to relax and enjoy and do whatever they would like to do.
Yeah, I love that. Open. And by the way, just a note, you dress wonderfully.
Oh,
Mary.
I don't know.
oh no. But I mean that she'll put conflicting, not necessarily colors. The colors tend to, but conflicting patterns, or what I would see as conflicting, right? But it's like, that is just, wow. I want to go shopping with you. Maybe you could just, you know, do my whole wardrobe for me. I wonder if she would be willing to do that. Actually,
Because for her, it's a creative expression. No.
yes. You know what?
absolutely.
She's
Man,
very artistic
Her
looking.
medium is fashion.
Yes.
You know, or presentation.
But just remember, Mary, comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh.
So you dress just perfectly fine. Look at those funny pants. I would never dare wear
Aren't they
something like
fun?
that.
Did you just call them funny?
No, I didn't say funny. I said fun. And I mean, I would probably never wear those. And the reason is that they're lively and all of that. It would compete with my personality. So I always have to dress so that my clothes doesn't interfere with my personality.
You're so funny.
That's
That beautiful
interesting.
shirt with the spot of yellow and your marvelous yellow espadrilles. That's so fabulous.
Well, thank you.
It's fabulous.
But it is interesting how we choose to live, right?
Yes, it is. Now, tell me this. Did you ever have, how can I say, a challenge negotiating with your husband about how your house presented itself? Because he's in there to... Okay, hysterical laughter.
Well-
Did you ever have a challenge with your husband?
No.
Never did.
Not about that. No.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck goes pretty along with anything that I'll do. You know, it's funny because when we were living in Carlsbad, every now and then I would want to paint a wall, you know, a different color. And then, oh, no, I'm going to paint it even another color. You know, paint over that color. And you know, for the most part, he was just like, oh, okay. You know, as long as you do the work and I was doing the work, you know, okay, I'm okay with that. He seems to be okay with whatever I do. I mean, every now and then they'll be like, oh, why don't we do this? You know, and I'm thinking, uh-oh. It's something that, you know, I don't think so. I don't
negotiations.
But I have found that if I just sort of let that go, you don't say anything, that sort of the idea goes away.
Beyond to you.
Whereas I'm the person who, if I have an idea, I will just move on it. You know, I'll just
I
do
know.
it.
Yeah.
You know what is my obsession as of late, and I'm really quite excited about it, is I've always been very partial to good lighting.
Uh-huh.
And I love it when I've been able to make a living room kind of float in light
Oh, how pretty.
by using
Ooh,
up lights and
beautiful.
different things. I
Yeah.
remember at my husband's memorial, I had a bookcase and it was kind of intrusive, so I put light behind it so the light came out. And this very conservative, stoic man was sitting there at the memorial, and he looked over and he said, "Oh, she's even got light behind the bookcase." And it kind of made me feel validated that of all people, he recognized what I had done. But so the house in which I'm in right now has very poor lighting. In my living room, there is no outlet for lamps or anything like that. So I'm forced to use light from up above, which is very unattractive. So I use a lot of candles.
Beautiful.
But my little sister came from Denmark and she said, "Why are you using so many? You should really start using candles that are operated by battery because it's safer and you don't even have to turn them on and off."
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't get it. I thought, candles operated on batteries. But then I got some and I realized that they're tuber, and if I turn them around so you can't see the artificial wick, it just looks like lamps. And they have this beautiful amber lighting, which I absolutely love. So everybody that goes to the state are bringing me back these lamps, and I'm putting them everywhere. And so every night I sit, and the most beautiful thing about them is I don't have to use electricity. When I come home at night, my living room is all lit up because they come on at a certain time and they turn themselves on.
Program them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that incredible?
nice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what I'm doing now is I'm just putting them behind my bookshelves, the books, and even on the floor so that there's light on. So there isn't these big dark holes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
artificial candles. And my little sister, my sister and her husband owns a little farm up in Sweden, and they go once a month. So what she has done, she had put tapers in candlesticks in all the windows, and they come on at a certain time and turn off again, indicating that there's somebody there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, for
Like
security.
for security. So anyway, lots of possibilities.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
When I'm finished, I'll have you come and hopefully admire my
At dusk.
handiwork.
We'll come at dusk.
Yeah.
And
It
watch
is
the
my
candles
husband.
go
It
up.
shows best in the winter.
How beautiful.
Yeah, it's been fun. It really
Yeah.
has.
I
really
love
enjoyed
that idea
it. And
that
you know,
you're
it's
using
not
light.
expensive. I got three different sizes for $12. That's really not bad.
Uh-huh.
And then of course I use a lot of batteries, but it's very pleasant.
That's perfect. And you know, Elaine, you've offered me so much in this conversation. Every conversation we have, you are so thoughtful about having me think about another option. You know, you shed light in these conversations.
Thank you. Maybe that's why I like lights.
And so your house would then express that to me. That's what I would see.
Oh,
Is
that's
how much
beautiful.
light you bring to our discussion.
I don't know. I had somebody came. I had a group of people come, and this man looked up and he says, "It looks like a museum," and I felt really kind of hurt that he said that, because a museum to me is very stark, and I don't think my home is that. Caroline said it has a lot of character. Some people always have some sort of remark.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
it is. But I'm sure you hear that too. And you know what I'm really struck at the other time I was here is with what precision you have been able to hang those plates, because I have no doubt that is a stone wall, isn't it?
It's concrete. Yeah. It's concrete.
Wow, how did you do that?
Well, there's plate holders, and my friend Alondra did the design. I thought that would be a good design.
Beautiful.
And then I had somebody put the nails in, and then the plate
But
holders.
it's the
plate.
measurement, it's the
I
precision.
know, it's the
She was-
precision of that.
She was very careful about
Yes,
that.
I can see that.
She
It's
was very
beautiful.
careful about putting that in.
Yeah.
I love those plates because they're a commemorative cafeteria china that was created by Sanborn's. Do you know Sanborn's, the
Yes.
Mexican restaurant?
Yeah.
Right? And for their 50th anniversary, 70th anniversary, I can't even remember now. They did this series of Mexican heroes. Those are the Mexican heroes of the Mexican Revolution that they commissioned for their restaurants for this time. And so I love that they were the Mexican heroes, the heroes of the revolution.
It really looks great.
Here, so
One thing I've noticed, your carpets somehow look slightly different than the last time. Have you done something to them?
no, they might be a little dirtier.
Actually, I thought it was the opposite.
And my vacuum broke. Oh, and by the way, and all of you listening to this conversation, I know a great vacuum repair guy in Ensenada.
Oh,
So if
good
you're a
to know.
vacuum cleaner,
It is.
Good to know.
yeah, he's wonderful.
Oh, good.
So
That's
vacuum-
good information for all of
for a
us.
little
Because
while,
what
so
happens with your
that might
vacuum
be
Yes.
what you're seeing.
Well, luckily,
Thank you.
one of the workers in our place, my vacuum stopped working, and he was able to take some parts away from it and brought out all this hair, and he said, "There's an animal in here."
Mine
And I'm like,
sucks.
"Oh, I'm the dog." Okay.
Yeah.
My vacuum cleaner goes for maybe 30 seconds, then it stops, takes a rest, then it comes back on again. And then
Well,
it's
I
all-
know this guy, and he fixed my vacuum cleaner. It's a Shark stick vacuum that I love because it's lightweight and easy to move around. And he fixed it for $35.
Wow.
Wow.
So I can
That's-
send you his
Well, that would
contact.
be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to
You
have
know what
some.
I love going into homes and people having something that I almost wish I could replicate. You know, like your dishes. I mean, that is unusual. You don't see people always putting up dishes on a wall, right? But it's so
Actually,
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I went into a home where someone had taken these old style Mexican shirts and hung them.
Oh,
I mean, in such a beautiful decorative way. And when
It's
I
so
think
creative.
of your place, I think of books and all the beautiful books you have, the leather bound, you know,
they must
and
be
how
gorgeous.
they're shown. That's the thing that stands out for me. And so it's interesting what we then choose
Yeah.
to decorate or to bring people's attention and eye to, right?
But I think I come to realize that the question, what does your home say about you? I think, are you thinking more on a psychological basis, like where am I as a human being?
Wow, that's powerful. No, I was just thinking about what do you hope it communicates about who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, go there. What do you think psychologically?
well, I do think your home talk about where you are in a way mentally, you know, by how tidy, organized, clean it is. What your mental state in a way is. I think if you walk into a home that is really chaotic, you know, because everything starts in your head. And so if you walk into somebody's house that is really chaotic, then that probably is what's going on in their mind. If it's very dark and drab, perhaps, I think sometimes my home is like that, a little drab, because the books are, you know, the brown color, so there's not a lot of color.
Yeah, but they're beautiful texture now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I don't
And
think
nothing like
dark and
books.
drab going into your place.
No, but if somebody does have a house, you would think, a little heaviness, maybe a little bit depressed with the darkness or the heaviness of a home. I'm not explaining this very well, but
Well, I understand what you're saying. I
you
think.
do?
Well, I've been
Yeah.
inside a friend's home that seems very, how do I describe, brown.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Is
just,
that 70s brown?
yeah, and just
Pops of orange
not-
or just
no
brown?
color really.
Neutrals, lots of neutrals.
Yeah, and just, I don't know, seems sad to me. But then that's me, you know, maybe not that person's state of mind. I like color. Like I love this,
Yeah,
you know, your
yeah.
place, Anne, and I love your place because even though maybe I'm not thinking too much color stands out, there's texture and depth because of like statues you have, the lighting,
The mirrors. I
the,
have a
the
lot of
mirrors. You know,
I
there's
use a lot of mirrors. Sorry.
the mirrors are beautiful.
But because it's not a big. It is really interesting because I never thought about that. But the first time Mickey and you all came, we were talking, and she said, "Well, this is not a big place. It's kind of small." And I never saw that. And I thought maybe it's because I came from a kind of a big house, and there were a lot of mirrors. So this is what I ended up with. So they reflect the light all the time, and that in itself is really, to me, lovely at night.
Beautiful.
When the candles are on, that they have this amber light. But yeah, the mirrors, I think, probably helps with that.
I love mirrors. How they bounce light around a room. I think
Yeah,
And I think mirrors make a room look bigger.
Yeah, it does. And see, I can sit and look straight ahead or a little to the left, and I can see what's going on behind me.
Yes.
In different parts of the house. But I won't name names, but you and I went into somebody's home, it's maybe a year or so ago, and I was really struck by this person's home. It was it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but there were nothing personal. I remember thinking there was no family pictures or momentums, little things that they had picked up at travels, like your carpet, for example. It was it looked like a staged home to me. But there was nothing of the person themselves. Do you remember?
Well, no, I'm not remembering which one, but
Yeah.
but I have been in places where there doesn't feel like there's any warmth.
Yeah.
That's how I would define it.
Yeah.
That it's almost like a model home, you know,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
things are, and in some respects, that's minimalist. Getting back to minimalist, my son, went through a period of time that, and I think he still believes he's very minimalist. They have very little things, but they don't want to have a lot.
Right.
And I really admire that. But I also feel when I walk into their place that I could sense who they are, right?
Yeah.
My sisters are both minimalist. I would call them minimalist. But it's elegant. To me, it's almost, oh, that's elegant. There's something just really beautiful about that. But I also sense who they are. Whereas some places you go into and it's like, I don't feel that a person lives there. I mean, lives there. It's almost too clean or too wiped away of any emotion or feeling or depth.
Right.
I like to walk into a home where you sense the passion of something.
Nice.
Like the carpets. You're passionate about carpets.
You really want
right?
one of her carpets. I think
I
that's
love
it.
I mean, I love.
I like the
person-
round one, by the way, if you're
Exactly.
ever wanting to give away.
Okay, great. I'm going to start making a list because this stuff has to go somewhere
I know.
at some point.
I
This
know.
stuff has to go
I
away.
think about that too. I mean, we're at this end of our life, right? I mean, and I keep thinking, and I know my son doesn't want any of it. None of it. He has no interest in anything. And in fact, we'll come sometimes to Baja and say, okay, you need to start getting rid of a lot of this stuff.
Right.
I'm not ready to get rid of it. Well, although I do give away things. I like giving away if
I do
someone
too.
notices something. I was just on the yoga trip to Tulum, and I had these 2 pairs of pants that I wore for yoga, and 2 different women commented on them, and I just handed them over. After I said, here,
I love
they're
that.
yours.
I love
And
that.
I do that with earrings, and I do that with other things, but I need to do it with the bigger things in my house. And I think about that, and how you said, maybe start writing down people's names on things and having them on the back of something.
And my mom did, and it worked like a charm.
Yes.
God bless her.
That's cool.
She had a couple of occasions where all the family was in town, and she invited us to say something about things that she had in her house.
Oh, that's cool.
It was real cool. Yeah.
And it's also a good lesson in learning to detach.
Yes.
I think
very
when
much.
we can't past, it brings with it some feelings that are not always so pleasant.
Well,
So-
and that, none of us wanted to think about her being gone,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So having her be able to make this gesture and have us start steering towards the understanding and grappling with the fact that she wasn't going to be around was very helpful. And it was a long process. It was a
Yeah.
long process, but it involved gifts from her that became very meaningful after she was gone.
That's beautiful.
And it was a real easy process, right? I mean, relatively easy. She was forethoughty enough to have us all go through the house and go, okay, well, you like that painting? Perfect. Put your name on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was really lovely.
Yeah, I think that is beautiful.
It
I
took-
really do.
It was lovely.
Janet Dittburner, who lived here in Baja, and when she was dying of
remember
cancer,
Yeah.
she started giving away things when she was still feeling good and everything was
Yeah.
just here, have this, or giving to the thrift store, but really to certain people
Yeah.
things. And I had a friend that she knew she was dying and she couldn't do that, and then to see her nieces come in and just sort of throw things in piles,
Well, that's the thing.
it was sad to me,
Yeah.
oh, we'll just have, the thrift store pick this up, or we'll just drop this off at the Goodwill. Anyway,